guys, quick video for you here today. As you've seen in a previous video, we got this old International here. She ain't running so good, and it's got a little bit of a stumble in the idle, and it doesn't start very well. So I had checked the points in it. I think I said in an earlier video they're pretty burnt. So today we're going to go ahead and put a new set of points in it and see if we can't get her running a little bit better here. It's a cold day today. It's about 20 degrees, so this thing is pretty cold-blooded, but once we get her going, get everything fixed up, let her run for a while, get all warmed up, and see how that idle is. And this is my first time working on a distributor like this, other than just changing the cap and rotor. Done that, but I've not really messed with points before, so I gotta learn it sometime. So I figure I might as well learn it on video, and if I can do it, you can do it. You can learn right along with me. So let's get started on this. Whenever I'm working on it, I always disconnect the battery. I always cover it up too, because I have a tendency to drop things. The last thing I needed is drop a wrench across my battery, wreck that too. So then we're gonna go ahead and pull the plugs off the cap here. Yeah, I need both hands. Pulled the cap off the rotor here. Rotor looks like it's in pretty good shape. The contact's still really good there. Replaced this rotor not that long ago. One thing I do notice there, this little ground wire here has got the coating rubbed off, and this power wire here that comes from the coil, it's seen its better days. If you look at the other end of it here on the coil, this might be original to the vehicle. That is brittle as all heck. So I think we're gonna get us some wire here and change this power wire too. It's definitely seen its better days. So there's my screwdriver. I'm just gonna turn this off of here. Just check and make sure it's not cracked or anything too. Looks good. So to get the points out, I got a little screw here and a little screw right over here. Alright, I gotta set the camera down here. All I gotta do is lift this out of here. I'm gonna take this screw out, pull these wires off. I'm gonna take a look at this, everything else under there too, and see if we got anything else that could use replacing. So I pulled these points out. I just want to show you here. Right here where my finger is, where it comes apart, on either side there's a little pad there. Those are your points. That's what makes that's part of the ignition here. And I don't know if you can see in there, I'm trying to get it in the light here. It's pretty black and burnt inside there. Should be kind of white. So we're gonna go ahead and go get a set of these at the hardware store, and then they're at Napa, and then we'll be back to put them in. See if we can't get them gapped right, and see how this truck runs. Maybe we'll go for a little ride yet today. All right, we got our new points here. Just wanted to point out one more thing here. Right down in here, there's a condenser. This is the condenser for the distributor. It keeps the points from getting too much juice here. So I decided to go ahead, we're gonna replace that too. And then I changed my mind on replacing this ground wire here and this other wire, because it's going to be way more involved than I thought, because this one here is soldered to the mount there, and this one here is attached down inside the distributor, and it comes out here and goes to the coil. That'll be a job for another day. But here, here's our new condenser, and okay, this is our new set of points. Now, on the old one, you can see inside here that it was all black and burnt. See how nice and shiny that is? I don't know what kind of metal that is, if it's tungsten or what, but both sides are nice and new and shiny. So before we put this in, it's gonna sit in here like this. Okay, this guide right here, where my thumb is what's gonna ride on that lobe. Okay, down here on this shaft, it comes up through the distributor. It's really hard to see, but this is a V8, so it's got 8 lobes on it, 8 high points. They're kind of squared off like octagon. So that guide rides around here. Then as it hits a high spot, you know, it rides off like that, and it causes the points to move. So when we put it on, we need to rotate this so that the guide is on right on one of these high spots here, and then we'll adjust the points to the spec. And the neat thing is, right here I happen to have the original owner's manual from 1962. So in the front here, it gives us our timing right here. Where's the points here? Okay, right here. Distributor contact point gap. We have the V8, the 266. It's the same as the 304. New points, 0.016. And then reset whenever you readjust them, 0.014. So then what we need is just a feeler gauge here. You can see. And then there's the metric reading right there in millimeters. So what I'm going to do now is just get these new points screwed onto here, and then that condenser, there's one screw holding it on. Just pop it off, put the new one on. The wire just wraps around here. It's going to connect to the new points. So I'll get those two things put together, and then we'll show you how to adjust them here if I got enough hands. Alright, so we got the new set of points in place here. I got the condenser put on the back. I hooked up these two wires again. So now what you got to do, man, this is really hard to show on camera. Remember, you got them lobes down here on that shaft, okay? So you got to find, here's that guide, and remember there's the high points on the shaft. You got to line up the guide with the high point on the shaft. You could bump the motor over. You can move it a little bit by hand, not much. Otherwise, what I did here is I just grabbed the fan blade and turned the motor a little bit. Okay, you can get it lined up real nice. And then what you do is you take your feeler gauge, put it right in here, and it just should fit nice. It shouldn't just be a tiny bit of drag on it between the 2 points there. And then to adjust it, you just take a screwdriver, put it on this adjuster screw here, and turn it counterclockwise or clockwise, and just watch, you know, as you turn it, the points here will either open or close. So then you just adjust it a little bit, check it again, here. That actually feels really nice. So I got them right where I want them. So all we got to do, put this rotor on, or the rotor on here. I'm going to attach that, I'm gonna put the distributor cap back on here, and then I'm gonna hook up the wires. I numbered them so I know where they go, and I'll get that done, and then we'll try this baby out together. So it's about time here to start this thing up and see what kind of job I did and see how she runs. We got her running here. It idles way better. Nice and smooth now. The engine's still got a little bit of a tap in it, so I don't know if I got a valve issue or just out of adjustment there. We'll take a look at that next spring. It's time to put her away for the winter here. And also next spring we're going to put in a fuel pressure regulator, replace the carburetor, and the guy highly suggested it. I put in a fuel pressure regulator at 3 psi, so I need to get that done yet. I don't want to drive it too much before I get that done, because we got some smoke here I'll show you, and that's probably very likely to do with that fuel issue. So also got some old gas in there, but we'll jump into all that in the springtime. I think I'm going to set things up here and I'll go ahead and take you for a ride with me. Well, here we are tooling down the road in our old International here. Going to put her in the storage shed for the winter time. Put her to bed till the salt is off the roads. She's running pretty good actually. Rather surprised. You can see here, speedometer works. I'd put a new speedometer cable on it this summer. Oil pressure gauge works. Fuel works. Temperature will come up. It does work. So, pretty neat. These things are not exactly the most comfortable riding things. Basically a piece of farm equipment. But they're a darn good piece of farm equipment back in the day. Tough as nails, you couldn't hurt them. It's hard to get used to a vehicle without power brakes. A lot of younger people out there probably never driven or ridden in a vehicle without power brakes. You gotta pay attention. You gotta stand on it when it comes time to stop. No power steering, but that's no big deal. I remember how cold it is riding in here as a kid. The heater didn't work all that great, and then in the summertime, air conditioning was right there. That little knob that says vent, you pull on that and some louvers open up in the floor here, let some outside air in, and that's your air conditioning. Roll the window down. I gotta do now is take the battery out. She's good for the winter. It did run very well on the way up here. So, all right, until spring, this will be the end of the International Chronicles. We'll see you next year.